As you may or may not know, my wife and I just got back from Vegas. It was a great trip. We ate, we drank, we had a blast. But then we got home and looked at the credit card, and I gotta say, it doesn't matter how much fun you're having, $25 for a drink is a ripoff. Frickin' Vegas. I hate getting ripped off, and so do the lads over at Harry's. They spent years watching the razor blade companies rip people off and said, no more. Not all heroes wear capes, my friends, and they want to prove that they're legit by offering you hot dogs a $13 trial set for just $3 at harrys.com/RTG. I've been telling you about them for months, and I'm genuinely proud to have Harry's as a sponsor of this show. I wasn't kidding. The plastic, futuristic-looking crap razors you get at the store are overpriced and they're poor quality. Harry's blades are crisp, clean, and classy. They're the kind of razor you'd expect your grandpa to have on his bathroom counter. And most importantly, they work. Shave after shave, they're so smooth, they're precise. I used to go through the crappy store blades all the time, but Harry's are built to last. And they're not just better quality than the other names, they're more affordable. And they deliver. Just set your schedule, and for as little as $2, new blades, shaving creams, lotions, everything you need, right to your door when you need it. I genuinely cannot think of a reason not to try Harry's. And I'm not just saying this because they're sponsors. They're the best shaving supplies I've ever used. Try them out, and if you're not happy, your shave's on them. And unlike the other subscriptions, they're really easy to cancel if you want to too, which is a nice bonus, but believe me, you're not going to want to cancel. Getting ripped off isn't funny. Switch to Harry's. Get started with a $13 trial set for just $3 at harrys.com/RTG. That's harrys.com/RTG for a $3 trial set. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Remember the Game. It is my retro gaming podcast where every week a buddy of mine and I sit down and we geek out about the games we played back in the day. My name is Adam Blank. Thank you so much for listening to the show. And this week it is episode 233, and we're finally talking about a game that we have been getting requests for fucking years now, or I should probably say a pair of games that we've been getting requests for some time now, and that is Left 4 Dead and Left 4 Dead 2. And admittedly, we're kind of rolling them into one episode this week because I didn't play a ton of Left 4 Dead 2 back in the day. And then when I started replaying them to get ready for the episode, I realized they've kind of been combined, and it's just trying to separate Left 4 Dead 1 from Left 4 Dead 2 is almost like trying to separate two different colors of Play-Doh that have been mixed together. You know, it's just enjoy your pile of gray-brown goo. Right? Anyway, Left 4 Dead. I love these fucking games. You know what? I'll be bold here. I'll go out on a limb and I'll say Left 4 Dead is better than Play-Doh. And I love Play-Doh, but Left 4 Dead is fucking Left 4 Dead. And I know that there's a sizable portion of our listener base that are just foaming at the mouth like the very zombies you mow down in Left 4 Dead for some more online shooter talk. And I'm just going to be honest with you and let you know, like, this might be it. You know, we talk about it on the show a little bit. I didn't play a lot of online anything back in the day. I'm still not a big online guy, and I really didn't play a lot of shooters. I'm terrible at them. I've never really played a Call of Duty. We're going to talk more Halo. We're going to talk Gears, but I just like the campaigns. That's all I know is campaigns, but there's just something about Left 4 Dead, and I don't know what it was when it came out. Maybe it was the zombies, it was the co-op aspect, the delightful pun that is the 4 in the name. I was drawn to Left 4 Dead on the 360, and I just played it, and I played it, and played it with strangers. Mostly, my friends were pretty well just playing sports games back then. I didn't have anyone to play it with, but it was still just so much fun. And I fired it back up to get ready for this episode of the show very reluctantly on Steam, because getting this game running on an Xbox these days is more complicated than pronouncing patrons' names. I actually don't even know if it still works on Xbox or not. But I bought Left 4 Dead 2 on Steam for $1. And it turns out it was about the best dollar I've ever spent, because everything Left 4 Dead 1 is rolled in there too. And I've been playing it online with some Patreons over the last couple of weeks to get ready for this episode. It holds up. It's still so much fun. Left 4 Dead is so fucking fun. I don't know why Back 4 Blood just didn't hit like Left 4 Dead did. I don't know. And Zoe is still the fucking shit. I love that girl. And I like Tyler, who's my buddy that comes on the show all the time, and he's back this week for a late night chat. We recorded this episode about 1 a.m. This might be the latest we've ever done an episode. About Left 4 Dead, Left 4 Dead 2. We talked about disgusting looking undead folks that puke all over the place and what makes them so goddamn great. And we'll get there in just a minute, because speaking of an undead looking guy that pukes all over the place and thinks he's so goddamn great, it's time for another edition of the Remember the Game infamous intro. Dun, 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 dun. And if you're new to the podcast, welcome aboard. Consider this your warning. Our intros are a little bit long, but they're fun, and they're not nearly as frustrating as fucking goddamn Francis is. Fucking Francis. Most useless character in Left 4 Dead. Ugh. Anyway, though, if you want to skip the intro, you just want Left 4 Dead talk, go about 30 minutes up the road. Just slide your thing up on your phone, bada bing, bada boom. You'll be into the Left 4 Dead talk, all right? I have to do my plugs. It's how we keep the bills on around here. We have merch, hoodies, t-shirts, coffee mugs, posters, all rocking incredible art designed by my man Joe from 4545creative.com. You can find all of our merchandise at rememberthegamepodcast.com. If you're interested, it's a great way to support the show. And of course, if you don't like clothes, I get it. You can always just support us on Patreon. For just $2 a month, you get 2 additional podcasts every single week. You get exclusive access to my gaming news show Game Patch every Friday, where I look at all the biggest news in modern video games, and I add in my opinions and stuff. And Expansion Pass goes live every Thursday, and that's a different podcast every week. We do game rankings, we look back at characters, consoles, there's some comedy episodes, there's a ton of modern game reviews in there. This past week on Expansion Pass, it's arguably our biggest episode of the year, the 3rd annual Blankies. It is our year-end game awards. You all voted. We handed out your awards. I make my pick for game of the year and stuff like that. There's some comedy segments in there, and I even made a very special announcement about a 5th weekly podcast. And as is becoming tradition, here's a sneak peek of last week's episode of Expansion Pass, the 3rd annual Blankies. Now it's time for my favorite part of the show, and it's not talking to the audience. It's the best indie game, probably my favorite award. As many of you know, I have a bit of an indie game fetish, and unlike my other fetishes that got me banned from West Edmonton Mall, this one I'm encouraged to talk about publicly. In an era where AAA games are sacrificing creativity for flashy graphics and open worlds, indie games are a reminder that video games don't have to be like movies. From the pixel art graphics to the off-the-wall inventive ideas to the cheaper price tags and the occasionally insane replay value, indie games have really solidified their place next to big AAA titles as a cornerstone of this hobby of ours. And jokes aside, I love indie games, and 2022 was a great year for indies. Let's find out who y'all consider to be the best of the best this year. Roll the reel. Your finalists for 2022 Indie Game of the Year are Tunic, Stray, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge, Nobody Saves the World, and Vampire Survivors. There's never any survivors with vampires. And the winner of 2022 Indie Game of the Year is... So that's now available in our archives. Thank you so much for all the kind. We got a lot of great reviews on this one. It made me feel very good. It was a pain in the ass to do, and I'm glad so many of you enjoyed it. So that's now available in our archives. This week it's Expansion Pass 147. Our Patreons voted for the topic, and we're going to war. It's the Super Nintendo library against the original PlayStation library. We're going to compare them both and try to decide which is better. Spoiler alert, they're both fucking great. It's tough. So again, $2. Get you 2 additional shows every week. Instant access to about 300 archived commercial-free bonus podcasts, and the ability to join our Discord, the chance to vote in our Patreon poll every month. It's running right now for the rest of January. The ability to submit comments to be read on all of our shows. You get DM with me, and you get a shout-out and get to hear me mispronounce your name like I'm about to do to most of these people. A huge thank you to our newest Patreons, Dylan, Tim Nail Quinton, Jovan Valentine, Shoeboxers, Haxim Smith, sorry, Mrs. Haxim Smith, sorry, Smith. Mark Schultz, Jace Carroll, Papa Glids, Wildcard in all capitals, making it extra wild. Patrick McCall, Sid Fish Dev, Ryan White, oh my god, Trampoline, Tornado in 3 words. I like it. And Mason Cooper Games. Thank you all so much for the support and welcome to Remember the Game Industries, patreon.com/remember the game. And one last note just quickly on the topic of a 5th podcast. I don't always plug it here on Remember the Game, but if you didn't know, I actually host 4 weekly shows. You have Remember the Game you hear every week. Expansion Pass and Game Patch are available to all of our Patreons. I do a show called The Rambling Idiot that goes live every Tuesday. That's available at our $5 Patreons here, where I talk comedy and movies and life and sports and just whatever I feel like talking about. And beginning in March, we're going to be rolling out a 5th podcast. It's going to be a Simpsons podcast that'll be available at that $5 tier as well. New episodes will go live every second Monday. It's going to be bi-weekly. It'll be episode reviews, rankings, all kinds of stuff. So there's a fucking smack load of value over there. Up to 5 podcasts a week at our $5 level. So if you're interested, patreon.com/remember the game. And finally, you can find me on Twitch, twitch.tv/remember the game. A lot of people have been coming by now, which is fucking really cool. I'm trying to get on there more frequently. I'm playing through Doom 3 over there right now. So if you want to come by and watch me scream like a little girl, that's always fun. Twitch.tv/remember the game. All right. That's enough blowing myself. Let's blow in some cartridges by blowing, oh wait, no. I was about to say by blowing some of you. Isn't that what I say most weeks? How am I fucking this up? Let's blow some of you by whatever. It's our opening segment here on the show. I read a few comments and questions from our Patreons, usually gaming related, but not always. And I attempt to call it blowing in the cartridge.
He blows all right. He blows big time.
That's it, honey. Get into the spirit.
Let's blow. Our first blower this week is Terror of Rebirth. That's a fucking horrifying name. Who said, Adam, short-time lurker, first-time poster. Saying you lurk with a name like Terror of Rebirth doesn't do you any favors. I never want to, all due respect, thank you for the support, thank you for writing in. I don't know if I want to meet you. I'm a little creeped out. Anyways, Terror of Rebirth said, first off, if I make it on Remember the Game, happy early birthday to me. My birthday is on Thursday, so it kind of make me giddy to get read. Now, I just want to say, before I get to Terror of Rebirth's comment or question, that's the one. We still have people that write in, first time, long time, 7th time, short time. No more. If you write in, and I'm not dunking on Terror of Rebirth, but don't think now if you write in and be like, hey, it's my birthday, get me on the that was it. That was the one. That's not going to work for anybody else. Terror of Rebirth played the play. That card has been cast. I'll know that play's coming in advance. But anyway, happy birthday, Terror of Rebirth. Continues. Second, how come you don't really cover a lot of handheld titles? They have quite a few great games from Mario and Zelda to Golden Sun and Fire Emblem. I know you have a lot on your plate with what all you have going on. I was just hoping to see you maybe venture more into the handheld side as well. Thanks for making a podcast that is about nostalgia for the games. Well, thank you for listening and supporting Terror of Rebirth. You know what? I get asked this quite a bit. When am I going to cover more handheld games? And the fact just remains, I didn't play a lot of them. Like the Game Boy, I think we've covered Link's Awakening, we've covered Tetris, we've covered Super Mario Land, we've covered Kirby's Dream Land, we've covered Super Mario Land 2, we've covered Pokemon Red and Blue. I mean, there's more Kirby, there's Mario Land 3. I don't think there's another Game Boy game that I've played enough to cover on the show. And as far as the Game Boy Advance, I think we've covered like Metroid Fusion, I played that for the first time to get ready for the show. Same with Pokemon Emerald or Gen 2, whatever, most of Pokemon's. Like I barely touched the Game Boy Advance. So trust me, I hear you. Those of you that are asking for it, The Legend of Zelda Minish Cap is going to be making an appearance on the show in the coming months. I'll give you that right now. I would love to get to Golden Sun and I would love to get to Fire Emblem. They're just unfortunately stuck in the backlog from hell right now. So I just don't have a lot of experience with those handhelds. But I promise, dude, especially the GBA. I have yet to play a GBA game I don't like. So more episodes are coming. I just haven't played a lot of them. That's all it is. So there you go. Thanks for writing in, Terror of Rebirth. Ghost of Johnny Drip Drip said, Adam, as a wrestling fan, what's your take on Vince McMahon returning to the WWE? I'm only going to be quick on this because I know not everyone listens to this is a wrestling fan, but I have been getting asked this a lot. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I don't think he should have been brought back. I know he kind of strong-armed his way in and no one could stop him, but listen, all right, in the 90s and the 2000s, I loved WWE and I love Vince McMahon as much as the next person. The heel character, Mr. McMahon, is one of my favorite characters ever. I love pro wrestling, but it's not about how bad the WWE product is right now because I do think it's improved. It's the fact that he's back, and I just don't support him or what he's done. And truth be told, I've canceled the network. I'm probably not going to watch the Royal Rumble this weekend. I just don't have a lot of interest in WWE right now. I'm not impressed that Vince is back. So for those of you that have been wondering what I think about it, I hope he sells, hopefully to somebody not totally evil. And I'm just going to leave it at that. And hopefully I can get back into the product because I don't really want to support them right now. So that's where I feel on Vince McMahon. Michael Matthews, say, Adam, quick one here. Can we bring back calling out your voice crack every episode? I don't feel like my voice has been cracking every episode, has it? I listen, I'm all for calling out my voice cracks, but I feel like maybe at 39 years old, I finally finished puberty. I don't feel like my voice is cracking much anymore. Maybe I finally got good at this. I need to drink a water because I have a frog in my throat. But that's not a crack. That's a frog. There's a difference between frogs and crack. So yes, when my voice cracks, I will call it out. I just don't think it does it anymore as much. Rambo Dude said, hey, Adam. Excuse me. Fuck. There you go. See, you fucked me over, Michael Matthews, you son of a bitch. Rambo Dude said, hey, Adam, I got a two-parter for you. What do you think is the last overarching genre of video game that has come out? Battle Royale type comes to mind for me. Also, when do you think a new genre will come into existence? Thanks for the awesome content, man. Keep kicking ass. I would probably agree. Yeah, I was trying to think about, I've thought about that myself. There's a voice crack because I get excited when like a new genre really takes off as well. Battle Royale probably is the latest genre to go completely mainstream. There's so many Battle Royale games now. When do I think the new genre is going to come into existence? I don't know because every time I feel like everything's been done, they come up with something new. Like what's left? You know what I'm like? I know this is going to sound like a stupid thing to say, but I feel like if somebody knew what the next big genre in gaming was, they would have already made it or they would have like trademarked it or something. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of just waiting to see what sticks against the wall. So I don't know. But I guarantee I'll bet money by the end of this generation, the PS5 series everything generation, we know what the next big genre is. But I agree. Battle Royale has become fucking just Battle Royales are fucking huge. They're everywhere these days. Like I feel like there's going to be a podcast Battle Royale soon, which I'm going to win, by the way. Christopher Hart said, Adam, have you given The Last of Us show a spin yet? I'm a huge fan of the games. I believe you are as well. So far, I'm completely blown away and can't wait for more. All the prospect of this being true to the game stories really does it for me. Hashtag Team Abby. I have actually been watching them. For what it's worth, I'll probably do a full series review of The Last of Us on Expansion Pass once it's done, so I'm not going to spoil anything for you or anything right now. But yes, we're 2 episodes in as of this recording. Episode 2 went on last night. I thought, because I'm recording this on Monday, I thought episode 2 was better than episode 1. I'm excited for episode 3. I think it has been spectacular. It has just been, if you're a Last of Us fan, it's a no-brainer. Watch this show. It has been superb. The only thing that sucks is having to wait a week for a new episode. It's fucking driving me crazy. But I've loved The Last of Us. It's been outstanding. Adrian Big Johnson, I love that handle, said, hey man, I was listening to the Blankies episode, and when I got to the part where your girlfriend was on it, it made me wonder, does she not like the podcast or just doesn't like being on a social platform? It comes off like she wants nothing to do with it or maybe just has anxiety. Keep up the great work, my friend. Yes, so I guess I'll spoil it by letting everybody know. I've been podcasting for about 6 years. I've been doing Remember the Game for about 4.5 years. And my girlfriend, Shaylee, made her very first ever appearance on the show during the Blankies, the Expansion Pass episode. It was like a 2-second appearance. Well, it was more than 2 seconds. It was like a comedy skit, but she finally made her appearance. To answer your question as to why she doesn't come on the show more often, first, she's not a big gamer. All she really plays is she's played like Breath of the Wild like 10 times. She loves Slay the Spire, and she's playing Immortals Phoenix Rising right now. All games I'm not going to review on the show. She hasn't played like any retro games to come on. Part of it, she's just not a big gamer, and part of it, it's not anxiety. It's not that she doesn't like the show or the people or the platform. She's a much quieter, more introverted person than I am. You know, I'm the comedian who's got a podcast and says, everyone look at me. And she has a great job that she's super good at because she's smart and works hard. But she's very professional and she's quiet and she's not really on social media. She just likes to, one of those rare people that just has no real footprint online, which I respect in 2023. That's not an easy thing to do. So for those of you that have asked, yeah, she just doesn't really have a lot of interest in being online. And I get it. I love that you guys listen to this podcast. I love what I do for a living, but there are days where I don't want to be online. So I get why she doesn't. I understand. And that's really all there is to it. She likes to, she's the puppet master, man. She's just pulling the strings from behind the scenes. Patrick McCall Said, hey, Adam, first time blower here. I discovered your podcast a few months ago because I work 10-hour shifts at a warehouse, and I found my usual podcast was starting to get stale. I've always wanted to get into retro games, having played many, but never actually having to play more than about 15 minutes of one before putting it down, minus a few exceptions. I have to say, I love how honest you are about games, and you don't just blow smoke up their ass because every game journalist ever claims it's one of the best games of all time. I've actually found myself starting to sit down and play games that you review, and I have to say I've been having a lot of fun. I was wondering if you've ever found a podcast or a person that made you give something that you've always wanted to do or experience an honest try where you've failed before. Sorry if my letter's a bit long. I just wanted your opinion on this. Thanks, Adam, and keep on keeping on, or whatever you Canadians say. We say keep on keeping on, but we have to end it with an A. So it's keep on keeping on, eh? That's how you'd say it here in Canada. First of all, thank you for the kind words, and thank you, dude, you know what? Thank you for saying good for you on not blowing smoke up games ass, because, like, I take shit. Someone just left me a 1-star podcast review because they were mad that I dunked on Ocarina of Time. Like, I'm like, dude, are you seriously that mad that I don't like your favorite game? Fucking Jesus Christ. Fucking millennials. Anyway, so what was the question? Have I ever wanted to do or experience, has somebody, a podcast or person, ever inspired me to try something where I failed before? I mean, I would say Jerry Seinfeld is the reason I got into stand-up. He's not the reason I've stayed in stand-up. Some of the comedians I've met and some of their incredible work ethic is what's made me stay in stand-up. But he's the reason I got into it. And I know he's a very controversial personality in the world of podcasting and in video games and everything. And so I don't want to get into an argument whether you like him or not like him. It's fine. But the kind of funny guys, when they left IGN, that really inspired me to get out and try to do something like this on my own. And then when Colin Moriarty left, Kind of Funny. I don't agree with everything Colin does. I used to be a Patreon of Colin's Last Stand. I'm not anymore because I just found I wasn't listening to the shows. I actually enjoy their Xbox podcast more than Sacred Symbols. I can't stand Dustin or whatever the fuck that third kid is on Sacred Symbols. What a pompous little shit. But anyway, just both of those, both Kind of Funny and Colin on his own, just that they... Whether I agree with what they do or not, I don't listen to anything Kind of Funny does, and I don't listen to anything Colin does anymore. But that they walked away from secure jobs to try to do this really inspired me to get started. And I would probably give them credit more than anybody else for getting me into it. And then, yeah, comedians, I respect anyone with a hustle that hustles. You know, and comedians fucking hustle. So I hope that answers your question, Patrick. Thanks for listening, buddy. And be safe on that forklift, my friend. And finally, before we move on, it's letter time. It's letter time. Pressing X wrote in and said, hey, Adam, deep question this week. Was there ever a point in the past, after Remember the Game was up and running, when you thought Remember the Game wasn't going to work out and you considered pulling the plug on it all and going back to employment? And how did you overcome this? It's a bit of a serious question for the podcast, but I'm sure all the hot dogs like me admire and look up to you after what you've done with Remember the Game and hearing about a little adversity after you started the pod, because I know you've shared your story pre-Remember the Game, and how you overcame it would be great to hear. So I never thought about canceling or dropping Remember the Game after I started it, only because it was fun. And I mean, listen, if tomorrow the advertisers went away and the Patreon died and nobody was giving me a dime for this, I probably wouldn't still do all the Patreon episodes, but I'd like to think I'd still keep doing Remember the Game because I just really sincerely, genuinely enjoy doing this. That I make a living at it is just gravy. I never expected to make a dime podcasting. I just love doing it. Was there ever a time I considered pulling the plug on it? No. But when I first launched the Patreon, any of our old school listeners that were around back then will know, I was terrified of doing that. I really didn't want to. I was like, no one should pay to listen to my shit talk. That's why I offer so much value at that $2 level, the 2 extra shows a week, hundreds of bonus podcasts. It's not a plug. It's just the reason I offer so much. Frankly, if I could go back in time, I would take some of the stuff I offer that $2 level and move it up to $5. Because I think I offer too much at the bottom level, but I was so scared that nobody would pay for it or listen to it that I felt I had to offer all that, to get people to give me a chance. That's probably as close as it was. And then when the pandemic hit, comedy died. I was only making, I don't know, $300 or $400 a month off the podcast. And that was my only income. And then the government, our Canadian government, rolled out CERB, which was a payment plan basically for anyone that lost their job to the pandemic. And I wasn't eligible because of the $400 or $500 a month I was making off the podcast. So I canceled the Patreon so that I was eligible to make money from the government to keep the bills on, the bills on, as I say around here. And then I was a little hesitant to launch the Patreon again. And now I look back and I'm like, fuck me. I'm glad I took that leap. And then when we gave away the lanyards a couple years ago, we gave away lanyards to our first 200 Patreons. And I miscalculated the shipping cost. And that ended up costing me out of pocket over $2,000 that I did not have. I had to put it on my credit card to ship out those lanyards. I really fucked that up. But fortunately, I got lucky and it stuck. So there was never really a time I thought about quitting, but there were several times. And I still worry that someday I'm going to fuck this up and it's all going to go away. But there were definitely times where, yeah, I was worried that I was doing something stupid or I was messing this up. I hope that answers your question, pressing X. But no, I just really sincerely love doing this. That I make a living at it is just gravy on the ice cream. I just love talking about video. I really sincerely just love talking about video games. So there you go. That's it. We got to move on. Thank you so much for all the submissions this week. Let's go. We got to get moving here. We're running behind. Let's get into our Smash Hit segment, the official game show of Remember the Game Industries. It's Play 1, Remake 1, Erase 1. And a huge thank you to Classic Concentration from the NES for unknowingly providing us with the theme music. The rules are simple. Every week I give our listeners 3 retro video games. They can play one as it was released, remake one as a modern game, and the third is erased from time forever. And as always, there are no wrong answers, but there is a right one. We'll get to that in just a minute. This week I went with 3 zombie games from that Left 4 Dead era. We had Dead Rising, State of Decay, and Dead Island. And 32% of our patrons said they would play State of Decay, remake Dead Rising, and erase Dead Island, which is not what I would do. Let me see what a few of you had to say here. Then I'll tell you what the right answer was. Tripra wrote in and said, this was a tough one for me. I've played all 3, but I'm not that keen on 2 of them. With that said, I'll play Dead Island. I never really gave it much of a chance last time I touched it. I'll remake Dead Rising, as it's the game I had the most fun with. Nothing drastic, just tweak the controls and have them much smoother instead of the original clunkiness. Maybe give it a touch up graphically. And then I'm going to erase State of Decay. I can see the appeal from a survival point of view, but I just couldn't get on with the micromanaging of all the different characters, so I never really enjoyed the time I spent playing. State of Decay seems to be the sticking point this week, because some people are like, that is one of the greatest games of the generation, and I love it. And some people are like, fuck that game. I never played it. You'll hear my opinion when I tell you my play, remake, erase order. But State of Decay is a sticky point for people this week. Quite interesting. Brendan Lutmer wrote in and said, this was my first time playing and it was tough for sure. I would play State of Decay because I never played it before and it looks enjoyable. I'll remake Dead Rising because this game is just plain old fun. I genuinely love the gameplay and the story of this game, and I would love a remake based on the fact that it has incredible replay value, and I'd love to see what it could look like modernized. And unfortunately, I have to erase Dead Island. I did enjoy this game a lot when I was younger, and who can forget the iconic track, Who Do You Voodoo? However, I recently tried replaying this game and it just didn't capture me like it did in my youth. Good lineup this week, Adam. Thank you. Thank you. So many people yell at me and call me a bastard. It's nice to just have someone say good job. Thank you, Brandon Lutmere. Good job to you as well. Oh my God, Trampoline wrote in and said, first time player, this is literally my first day as a Patreon subscriber. Fucking story checks out. That's why you got in. I would play Dead Island as is because the game itself really holds up well to the current standards of gaming, still looks gorgeous and plays well. I'll remake Dead Rising because compared to the other Dead Risings afterward, it just hasn't stood up well. And I'm going to erase State of Decay because no matter how much I've tried to sit down and play this game and put in the time and effort, I cannot do it. I know that's going to set some people off, but you're not the only one that feels that way about State of Decay. It seems so... The hairs are split in the world of State of Decay. It's interesting. Dora Lingus said, finally, one I feel I can comment on. I'll play State of Decay because it's easily the best of this bunch. Open world zombie-based management game. Charlie Sheen calls that winning. That's a fucking pull. Charlie Sheen, fuck me. Remake Dead Rising. I think Charlie Sheen made my coffee at Starbucks today. It was weird. Remake Dead Rising. Damn fun game as is, but could use some quality of life and graphical improvements. Erase Dead Island. It gets kind of repetitive, and Dying Light is better anyway. Now, I've not played Dead Island either, but I fucking love Dying Light. So if Dying Light's a better Dead Island, that's fascinating to me. Tornado said, I'm going to have to say replay Dead Rising as it is because it's replay Dead Rising as it is because all in all, it's a well-rounded game with a great experience and lots to do. Remake Dead Island, I thought it was a solid game when I played it, but the controls were just a little too wonky for me. Great concept, but the execution could have been better. Erase State of Decay because I've never played it before and thought the trailers and gameplay looked half decent. I feel you could get more enjoyment out of Dead Island or Dead Rising. See, it's so, I'll tell you, so the winner, right? The winner of the poll this week was play State of Decay, remake Dead Rising, erase Dead Island. The runner-up was play Dead Island, remake Dead Rising, erase State of Decay. It's really fascinating to me. I gotta almost play the State of Decay just to find out what all the hubbub is about. Cody Richardson said, long-time Patreon, first time doing Play One, Remake One, Erase One, as this is one of the few I've seen where I've got experience with all 3 games. I'll play Dead Rising. This series was really fun take on the traditional zombie experience with all sorts of wacky weapons and kill methods. Got a little stale at the end, but it was pretty ahead of its time as the original came from the initial zombie boom of the 2010s. I'll remake State of Decay. I love the concept and gameplay, but it felt like one of the more realistic survivalist base building zombie games out there where you were really working toward building something worth defending, like in many traditional zombie post-apocalyptic narratives. I do feel like the controls and gameplay were a bit clunky and could do with a little retooling for a smoother experience. And Erased Dead Island. It was fun, but it feels trapped behind both the fact that it was leaned on. Fuck me, dude. Dead Island was fun, but it feels trapped behind both the fact that it leaned on online co-op to get the full experience and the fact that it's very much a product of its time with awkward, sluggish controls and plenty of glitches and bugs that range from minor to funny to sometimes game-breaking. It doesn't really hold up in my opinion, and it's essentially already been remade or replaced by the Dying Light series, which does everything it did but better. Fuck. That's 2 digs on Dead Island saying that Dying Light's a better one. I haven't played it. Okay. I personally... Actually, I'm only agreeing with only 7% of you this week. Very few of you just had the same logic I did, but Tim Tierney did. Tim said, I've played none of these, so it's a box art week for me. Played at Island because that box art is bitching and it looks like a cover for a lost Sam Raimi movie, Evil Dead Tropical Escape. Remake State of Decay because it had hints of coolness in its name and art, but likely needs a modern revamp. And Erased Dead Rising, cover reeks of bad B horror movie vibes, so it has to go. My logic has nothing to do with the box art, but I also kind of went in blind. I'm going to play Dead Island because it just looks fun. I don't know. I don't know anything about it. Maybe it sucks, but it looks fun. I'm going to remake State of Decay because it looks neat too. I'm not as convinced I'd like it as much as Dead Island. I sometimes get irritated with having to manage a team and all that kind of stuff. So I'll remake it for those of you that would like it remade. And then I'm going to erase Dead Rising because it's the only one I've played and it's fine, but I just don't really feel like I ever need to play it again. Does that make sense? I'm just done. It's fine. I've done it. I've been there. Anyway. Thank you so much to everybody that played this week. I'm going to tell you what I've been playing, and we're going to get a Left 4 Dead chat, and we're going to do all that in just a minute, because first, I'm going to stop for possibly a quick word from a sponsor. This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. Everyone that listens to this podcast knows about our illustrious CEO, my dog Molly. But the other silent partner behind the scenes is my wife. And let me tell you, my friends, a 17-year relationship with another person that has to talk to and live with you is a lot harder to maintain than one with a dog. We've had our ups and downs, and as you all know, a relationship isn't all sunshine and rainbows. They can be a lot of work. You get out what you put in when it comes to relationships, and talking to a therapist can be a fantastic way to put in some work. They can help you work through your issues, learn to communicate better, and even just provide you with an ear to bend when you need it. I've talked to my therapist about my relationships, especially when it came to my stand-up comedy career and how much I was away from home, and they helped me work on ways to keep my relationship strong even when I was out on the road. It turned out our relationship was actually better when I was out on the road, but that's a story for another day. And I know, right? Therapy. Who has the time these days? BetterHelp hears you, and they're making it easy. Fill out a quick form online, and they'll match you up with a therapist that suits your needs and that'll work around your schedule. You pick the meet times, and you can get your therapy fix from anywhere, over video, phone, or just chat. Become your own soulmate, whether you're looking for one or not. Visit BetterHelp.com/RememberTheGame today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/RememberTheGame. Thank you, sponsor, if you were there. And if you weren't there, then welcome back to the show, everybody. What have I been playing over the last week? Primarily Marvel's Midnight Suns. I'm so hooked on this fucking game right now. It was really slow to get going, but once the ball gets going down the hill, it's fucking sick. I'm really enjoying it. In case you don't know, Expansion Pass in February is going to be a God of War Ragnarok review the first week, Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core review the second week, and a Marvel Midnight Suns review the third week. So I got to get it done by the third week of February. Really enjoying it. I've also been playing Left 4 Dead to get ready for this episode. It's been awesome. I've been playing Doom 3 on Twitch to get ready for an episode about that. It's also been awesome. And then I'm, on occasion, dipping my toe into Red Dead Redemption 2. I'm not finding myself hooked, but I don't dislike it. It's just something I play on my Steam Deck when I just want to play something while I look at the TV. So anyway, that's it. That's what I've been playing. Let's talk Left 4 Dead. That's why you kids are here. As always, I like to give you nerds a chance to sound off before my guest tonight hogged the microphone. Chris wrote in and said this was one of the first games I played online with my mates when I bought my first flat apartment for those over the pond in US and Canada. Great memories playing this online until the wee hours in the mornings without a care in the world, but now I have to keep the bills on. You got red, Chris, partially for explaining to me what a flat was and partially because you dropped to keep the bills on. And I'm glad that that is caught on, and I'm not the only one saying it now. That warms my heart. Well done. Matthew Wilson said, I originally bought this on Xbox and my friends and I would play the first one like crazy. I remember when I found out you could load custom maps on PC. I once again bought it on Steam. I still have my physical copies for Steam. There were so many great maps that people made for the first one. I never really got into the second one, only because I had grown so attached to the characters in the first. You're going to hear about that when we get into the show. I like the characters from the first one better as well. Excuse me, Matthew, I get that. I just like kind of hiccup burped. It was a hip burp. It hurt a little bit in my chest. Red Hood Todd. There's a voice crack. Red Hood Todd said, Left 4 fucking Dead. Finally. Adam, this game holds a special place in my heart. I was not a horror fan, not big on shooters, but something about running around with dual pistols with unlimited ammo, shooting everything like a moron, scaring the witch, and getting yelled at by my friends got me. Memories. This game reconnected me with a high school friend I had not seen in years and his wife, who was the same birthday as me. Sadly, she went down the drug path and couldn't turn away. We lost her shortly after that. When my friend remarried, I was asked to be in the wedding, and this game was a big reason for that friendship I have. Well, I'm sorry to hear that story, Red Hood Todd, but I'm glad that this game brought you guys together. That's awesome. This is a game that bonds people, no question. Jace Carroll said, love both Left 4 Deads. The gameplay is so addictive. I'm a Call of Duty Zombies fanatic, but this game is special. I'm a COD Zombies fanatic, but these games, especially its multiplayer, are an amazing change of pace. Easy to learn, hard to master is how I would put it. Yeah, I'd go that far because I've learned it, but I'm dead weight. I'm far away from a master. I bring the team down. I'm the comic relief when my team is fighting for our lives. That's me. And Sharonic has the final word. Says sometime around 2008 to 11, there was a spot in Winnipeg called Spar Games. They had a couple dozen stations with 40-inch TVs, gaming chairs, and either a PS3 or Xbox 360. It was a cheap hangout, something like $5 an hour. We'd start with Call of Duty death matches when we had a full group, but as people left, we'd usually switch up to either Gears of War or Left 4 Dead when we got to 4 people or less. Left 4 Dead with 4 people in the same room, each on their own TV, was definitely the best couch co-op experience you could imagine. Lots of memories of people yelling to be revived with some 10-year-old's birthday party the other side of the room. Spar Games didn't make it. I think they closed after 3 or 4 years. I think they could have made it longer if they charged more and got a liquor license, but better online play with voice chat probably would have killed it eventually anyways. No question, it would have. But $5 an hour seems ridiculously cheap either way. That said, yeah, everyone that's like, I don't even play online shooters and I love playing Left 4 Dead with people. Everybody loves Left 4 Dead. They're like the acclaimed. And it's time for us to talk about it with my buddy Tyler and I. I'm going to cue up some music. And when it stops, we're going to look back at Left 4 Dead and the slightly less good but still awesome Left 4 Dead 2, which originally released on November 17th, 2008 and November 17th, 2009. Enjoy the podcast, everybody. Let's go. All right, so before we get into Left 4 Dead this week, which I know many of you are excited about, and Tyler, people are fucking excited. As soon as I posted this, people were like, fuck yeah, Left 4 Dead, and this is going to be fun, and my guest is Tyler, and I'm going to ask him how it's doing, and all that kind of stuff, and we always do. I want you to know, this is officially the latest we've ever recorded an episode of Remember the Game, and not like the closest to when it goes live, because we've done a couple where like I've snuck them in Tuesday at like 5 p.m. and they've gone live 5 hours later. I mean, the latest is we're sitting down to start this recording. It is 5 minutes to 1 a.m. And I'm an old man who usually goes to bed at 10:30 or 11 o'clock. So Tyler, how are you? And what the fuck are you doing to me?
I'm doing well. And, I'm working nights, so you're working nights. That's
I guess
how it
so.
is.
Yeah, I guess we're both working nights. I know a lot of people listen to this show working nights. So if you're listening to this on a night shift, we got you, fam. I got you. I'm fucking up, and I got you. I'm looking out my window right now. It's pitch black out. This game is
There's
kind
a
of
ton. There's a ton of people from my work who also listen to the show, so they're
Oh.
gonna be like, "Fuck yeah!"
what's up, Tyler's work, whose company we won't say. I actually don't think
Yeah,
I know the
that's
company
as far as we
name,
go.
but that's fine. That's good. I won't accidentally say it because I'm tired and I don't want to accidentally say something stupid. We're talking Left 4 Dead, and I gotta say, buddy, it kind of. I guess if ever there was a game where it made sense to talk about it at fucking 1 a.m. when it's dark outside, it's probably. And for the record, we're talking like the whole series. We're not. Don't worry about like if you cross over from Left 4 Dead 1 to Left 4 Dead 2 or fucking whatever. Like to me, these games are the same as like the Tony Hawks and stuff. They kind of blend together. It's hard to remember what was what, especially because they've kind of just wrapped it all up in one package these days. So we're just doing the whole thing.
I am ill prepared. I have only played Left 4 Dead 1. No, I'm joking.
Really?
I'm joking.
Oh, I was like,
No,
what
I've
the
played
fuck?
about it.
Serious? Holy shit.
I even what's the most recent one that came out that was a sequel but not a sequel?
Back
They didn't
4
have
Blood?
like the Back 4 Blood. Yeah, I played a
Yeah.
ton of that with my cousin too. It was fun as hell.
Yeah, you know what?
Took me back.
It's funny because like I was okay, so like most people that listen to this show already know this. But in case you're new to the show, like I don't play a lot of online shooters. For those of you that have been clamoring and waiting for like a Call of Duty episode, I hate to be that guy. Like it's probably never. I've never played. I don't think I've played 2 hours of Call of Duty in my life. I'm not very good at shooters. Every time I try to play, I ruin it for my team, and then everyone yells at me. And it's probably never gonna happen. But for whatever reason, Left 4 Dead, and we'll get into maybe why, but like these games just tickled my pickle, and I got really into them, and I was so stoked for Back 4 Blood when it came out, and I played it. I played with the community quite a bit. We beat it. It was fine, but I gotta tell you, man, like it's not that it's bad. I don't know what it is. It's just it doesn't.
just
It's
the
not the
game-
same.
Yeah, well, and games have moved past that. Like Left 4 Dead was what 2008. It came out right around Gears of War 2. Like it was at the peak of 360 gaming, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Back 4 Blood. Games are past that format now.
I
Like
think
it just
you're right.
didn't bring enough. It didn't bring enough of like what modern shooters have to the table. It tried to do what it'd already done.
Maybe
you can't
you're
do that.
right.
You can't go back.
Yeah, maybe you're right.
That's my opinion, but I'm my main like the fucking 4 games on my desktop right now are Escape from Tarkov, which is the most grueling shooter, Battlefield 1, Battlefield 2042. I'm sorry, anybody who's judging me on that. I love the Battlefield games.
Yeah, I thought people
And
hated
then-
Battlefield 2042. I don't
Oh,
really
it
buy
sucks.
it.
It's terrible. I'm just an idiot.
You're
I
the
play
only one that it's just you
terrible
and a bunch
things
of
sometimes.
bots. It's just Tyler and a bunch of bots.
Yeah, that's pretty much
shooting
it. If there's a fucking grappling hook, I'm in, okay? They have a character with a grappling hook. I just want to be Spider-Man, but like military.
I got you.
And then like Modern Warfare. That's the games I'm playing. And Cyberpunk, actually. I went back and I picked up Cyberpunk, and I'm enjoying the shit out of it.
I like it.
So Cyberpunk, like shooters are my jam, and that's what I felt for the I don't know, spiritual sequel of Left 4 Dead.
Yeah, like
It just tried to go back to 2008. It didn't work.
maybe you're right, dude. Because like I'll tell you, man. Like I remember when this game came out, and again, this is coming from a guy that like, listen, the Gears of War. So many people have been asking me when are you going to review Gears of War, and actually, I just want y'all to know, Tyler, who is on the mic right now, is going to be my guest, and I promise you, by the end of 2023, you'll got your Gears of War episode. It's coming. I know it is, but like.
I
never
can guarantee there will be hundreds of Coltrane callbacks.
Coltrane's the legend. But like
I love it.
I've never played maybe once or twice have I ever played Gears of War online. And I love Gears of
really?
War, but that's what I'm saying. Like I just don't play online shooters. I don't play them.
Yeah.
And so when this game came out, I remember like seeing the advertising and stuff for it, and maybe you're right. Maybe why Left 4 Dead was so spectacular and why Back 4 Blood just didn't hit the same was because like when Back 4 Blood dropped, it's like it's been done. Whereas like
Yeah.
I'm not saying there had never been a co-op zombie shooter prior to Left 4 Dead, but if there is, I don't know what it was.
No,
Not
I don't.
in this sense, at least.
No, I don't think so. I think like one of the things at the point of Left 4 Dead, like what co-op campaigns were there? Was like Gears of War. I think Gears of War 2 came out right at the same time.
Yeah,
But it
like
was
there might
Gears
have
of
been
War
like
and
Resident Evil 5, maybe. Like
I don't think it was out yet though.
it might not have been. Like
I think that came out later, but I think Gears of War and Left 4 Dead and Halo were like the co-op campaign games, and they all had drastically different styles. Like, you know
And
how you have this epic adventure in Halo.
yeah,
You have Gears of War, like the multiplayer was the pull, but the campaign was fun as hell to play. But it felt like Halo, like you were doing this epic adventure.
right.
Left 4 Dead felt like you were playing a fucking movie, a zombie movie. It
Eh,
felt like you were, and they promoted like that. Like you weren't doing a mission, you were doing. I think they called them. Did they call them movies or something like that? It was called. It wasn't called a campaign. It had like they were like because they had movie posters for
yeah,
each.
yeah, they did.
Like,
They had like
campaign you were in.
awesome looking posters and shit. Yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
I think also too, people need to remember like in 2008, 2009 when the Left 4 Deads came out, like I think, and you're more of a movie buff than me, but I think like generally I feel like society is kind of zombied out in 2023. Like zombies
hugely.
are still
like
rad.
Left 4 Dead, or not Left 4 Dead. Walking Dead, I think killed it. It just
I
went
do
on
too.
forever.
And it's just like everything is zombies now. And it's like when this game came out, sure there had already been stuff with zombies in it, but like zombies were still kind of cool and fresh and exciting in 2008. And then to see
for
this
sure.
game and to be like, yeah, so you and 3 of your friends jump into these zombie movies and shoot your way out of these zombie movies. And it's not Halo, it's not Gears. You're not these fucking super mutant, super powered Master Chief, Marcus Phoenix. You're just normal people surviving a zombie apocalypse. And you have to like work together and heal each other and help each other up and all these things.
I mean,
and
Bill wasn't just a normal guy. He's a bearded Vietnam vet. He's seen some shit.
I was gonna go to bat for Zoe because Zoe's my girl, but all I'm saying is like it just seems, you're right. It just seemed like so different than anything that had ever come out, and the marketing and everything was so good that it got me, a guy that didn't have any Xbox. I didn't know when to play it with. Like none of my friends were on Xbox. None of my friends were playing. And I really wanted to play it, and I just got hooked. I was just playing with strangers and just got totally hooked on it, and it was so much fun. And I've gone back and been playing it with members of the community over the last couple of weeks on Steam. I'm using an Xbox controller before everybody's like, mouse and keyboard. I'm using an Xbox controller, but I bought it off Steam.
I think it would be harder with a mouse and keyboard.
Dude, be careful because every time I go down this fucking, I'm still taking shit for the Half-Life episode. For dunking on mouse and keyboard. Go ahead. I'm just saying. I
played Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 1, like Warzone. Dudes with controllers slay. They've mastered movement. Mouse and keyboard, yeah, you can snipe from a mile away, but controller's where it's at.
Yeah, and you look cooler with a controller. There's no way to look cool hunched over a mouse and keyboard. You're fucking gross. There it is, and that's the comment that's gonna get me shit this time, right there. But
I just picture the dude from South Park during the war.
That's
Warcraft
all I think
episode.
of too. Yeah, the South Park guy. But
there's a dude who used to cosplay as that guy, and I think he died recently. Super sad. Like it was the best cosplay ever. Like if I went to a convention or left my office, that's the guy I'd want to meet.
Rip South Park cosplay guy. That's fucking sick.
Yeah, I think that was his title too, was South Park cosplay guy.
I love that guy so much. But no, it's true. Like I've been playing it with the community again, and I'm like, we were just playing it last night, and we beat a couple of campaigns or whatever, and like, fuck, like it's so like Back 4 Blood. And I don't mean to make this episode about Back 4 Blood, but it's hard not to compare them, and like. The cool thing about
I think it's the spiritual sequel. Like I think it's in the
I was so because I like the idea that like you can tweak your characters with cards and every character's got their own stat, like their own abilities and shit like that. But then I got back to Left 4 Dead where like outside of their voices and the way they look, the characters all play the same. There's no stats. You just play.
Yeah.
And it was like it was so much more fun to just pick a character, and we were just in there like every time fucking a goddamn like hunter would get on top of me, I would just start screaming into the mic and be like, help me. And then like, finally, and I don't think they helped me because they wanted me alive. They helped me because they didn't want to listen to me bitch anymore. But it was just like, it's just a very, like they hold up. Like these games are 15 years old. And they hold up, and there's still just so much. It's so they're basic enough that anyone like me that sucks at shooters and sucks at online can pick them up and learn how to play. But anyone that wants to like get hardcore into it, I'm sure there's people that play it on like the highest difficulty with their friends and fucking go to town and then anywhere in between. And it's just man, like they're just, I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is about them that makes them so good. I guess I do. They're good. But do you know what I'm
Yeah, they are.
saying?
They're
Like,
they're great. Absolutely. I mean, and it's not just one type of zombie. You've got I think there's like 4 or 5 types. You got your tank, your smoker, your I don't know what the liquor guy was called with the long tongue.
yeah, I don't remember what they were called either. And then there's the boomers that puke on you. I fucking hate them.
Yeah, and then the witches.
Oh, buddy. Okay, so there's also like there's the chargers, or the jockeys. I mean, that like ride your back, and like the hunters that pin you down. Like there's lots of cool enemies.
Yeah.
But the witch, dude, when we were playing it over I did an episode of Expansion Pass a couple of months ago where I ranked like the scariest enemies in gaming, and I can't remember if I put the witch at number 1, but I put the witch pretty high up, and we fired these things up, and I haven't played these games in almost 15 years, and we're replaying it, and the first time I hear that fucking music, and you can hear the crying and that kind of piano, like ooh, that fucking witch music.
Yeah.
I just like it just like I could feel my bowels loosening, and it was like just like the old days, and I was like, oh, for fuck's sakes, because they're just like, I don't know what it is about the witch. I think the witch is one of the coolest enemies ever.
Oh yeah. And so like the original like trailer for the first one was like them going through like your basic, Romero zombie survival scenario where they're like just, whatever, shooting their way through a horde, right?
Yeah.
And then I think they find a witch. I'm like trying to remember this because I got so much hype from it when I watched it back in the day. They find a witch and like they think she's a survivor, and then they start moving closer, and then I think it's Lewis comes in and he shines a light on her, and then it just all hell breaks loose. They're like, oh no, that's not a survivor, that's a mutated zombie, run, we're fucked.
Fuck. And and you know what else is dope? Like, so if you've never played Left 4 Dead by some chance, like, I mean, we'll get into more of the mechanics. Basically, you're 4 survivors in a zombie apocalypse, but the witch is just this. It's like this special zombie where it looks like a skeleton girl witch thing, and
she's got like long claws, like it looks like one of Wolverine's villains.
Yeah, kind of.
Like just huge long claws, no face. Like it's all she's got an intense look.
And unlike everybody else in the game that is running at you and trying to kill you and all the time, like she wants just leave her. Like she'll just sit there crying, and you hear this creepy music, and you can hear her like sobbing. And if you don't go too close to her, don't shoot her, or don't hit her with your flashlight beam, like light her up, she won't touch you, and it's fine.
Yeah, and I think in like 9 out of 10 times you can go. There is a path around. You don't have to fight her. She's worth, because they tally your points at the end, right? Is that in the first one or just the second one? I think they tally your kills or something. I
can't remember. Yeah. Oh, it definitely tallies your kills and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. But she's worth maybe not worth a lot of points, but there's definitely some prestige to taking out the witch. Right?
Oh, no question.
You get that. They tally everything, and at the end, witch. Your name killed her.
There's prestige on killing the witch, but there's also the like, you fucking dipshit, when you're the one that sets her off in the first place. Because like you all, like it's clear as day, you all hear her, you all see her, you're all talking to each other, Captain N, if you're fucking listening to this, and you're all like, oh, there's a witch over there. Everybody's.
I was wondering if you were calling your cell phone.
No, not me. I don't startle witches because I have a phobia of them. So I turn my flashlight off, I crawl, and I'm like, if there's actual just regular zombies around, I'm like, let them take a bite out of my ass. I'm not shooting around that fucking witch because I don't want to set it off. But then once somebody sets it off, you hear this like screech, and then the music gets different, and that thing runs at you, and that thing, the witch will fuck you up like fast. And it's just, I just think it's one of the like, I mean, I love everything about this game, and I love I hate the fat boomers that puke the bile up on you because I hate that you can't see, but like, they're great. The jockeys are great. The hunters are great. All the other enemies are great. None of them, in my opinion, can touch the witch. Like, I just think that's such a rad design that you came up with like this super powerful enemy, and then it was just like, it's on you. If you just leave her the fuck alone, you're fine. And it's so frustrating because sometimes it'll be one of the little things, like you'll shoot a car that has a car alarm on it, and it'll set the alarm off. The alarm will startle the witch. Now here she comes. You know what I mean? Like, fuck.
Oh, yeah.
I'm smiling while I talk because I love this stupid game so goddamn much.
Well, and like, I love the boss fight at the end, like everything. Like you go, so you're going through each campaign, each like level. They're all independent little movie posters. So it's each campaign is its own little movie, and it plays like a movie. Like you go through a series of trials. I I vaguely remember that the AI in this game was something groundbreaking, where like the game would actually gauge how you were doing, and if you got really stagnant and were just hanging out, it would send a horde of zombies to get you moving. It would be like, listen, motherfucker, you don't get to rest.
Yeah.
You're in an apocalypse, like time to go.
And that's
So it wasn't
yeah.
like it wasn't the same every time. Like I remember playing modern, like the original Modern Warfare, where you're storming like Normandy, and my old man, I remember watching him play it. He had memorized where every fucking German soldier was, and it was like watching John Wick rip through Normandy Beach. And then he played me in multiplayer, and I destroyed him, and he never played video games again.
I love it.
Yeah,
No.
great. But this game changes every time you play it. The zombie horde is never the same
Yeah. That's
until the boss battle. And it was so hard. Like a lot of them, like there's one, I think it's No Mercy, where you fight in the hospital.
Dude,
There's
that's the
Blood
one we
Bank.
finished. You have to you get to the roof of the hospital and you call for a
The amount
helicopter,
of
and then you
times,
need
the
to
amount of times.
you have to stay up there and survive till the helicopter shows up to get you, and fuck me.
Yes.
Oh my god.
And you fight a tank. You fight a tank while you're up there. The amount of times I got bitch tossed off that fucking rooftop,
Yeah.
I can't even count. I'm traumatized from that.
It's so
God
much fun.
damn it.
No, that's where I wanted to go. Like, to me, and we'll get into more of the other aspects of the game, but like, to me, the real brilliance of this game, like the secret sauce, is I think they call it the director in the game. And basically
That's what the AI was, the director. That's
yeah,
right.
it's like procedurally generated, and like, basically, like, you're going through the same levels every time, like the layout, basic kind of, but like, you don't know where the items are going to be. You don't know what weapons are going to show up. You don't know what zombies are going to show up. You don't know what special infected are going to show up. And again, to go back to Back 4 Blood, that was one of the big things about it that didn't click with me, was I felt like it almost relied too much on the special infected. Like, that's all it was. Like, it was just like special after special after special. Whereas this game, like, in my opinion, and you're right, like the No Mercy was the campaign we did that we had the most fun in as well, where you have to fight through that hospital, and you start out on the bottom floors of the hospital, then you get up to the higher floors where it's still being like constructed, and you can kind of see through some of the frames, and there's drywall and construction supplies everywhere, and you fucking turn a corner, and then there's just like a swarm of fucking zombies running at you with one or two special ones mixed in, and the special ones are frustrating, but they don't overtake the game. Like, they're just there to, you need to save one of your partners
The horde
from
of
them or
zombies is
something.
what the big threat is. It's the horde, not the specials. Like the specials just enhance the horde, right?
Exactly. And the specials are what force you to work together. Like, a hunter gets on top of you, and you need
Right.
someone to knock the hunter off of you and stuff like that. But like you said, to me, like, the real genius of this game, the secret sauce, is the director. And the fact that, like, it would ruin so much of this game if you knew, like, okay, up around this corner in the second door, there's a hunter and a boomer waiting for you, so just lure them out. Like, there might be a hunter and a boomer in that room, and then the next time you play through, you go in that room, and all that's in there is like a first aid kit and like a grenade, or like a pipe bomb. And so that suspense never goes away, and it's so perfectly balanced. Like, I never feel it's cheap. It always feels, you're never bored, but it never gets repetitive at the same time. You know?
Absolutely.
Just very,
absolutely.
very well done.
100% agree. And that's what takes the game from being like, oh, this is something I picked up and I played for, whatever, one playthrough, 10 hours, to playing like, hundreds of hours with anybody who came over. This is when I was in Prime Party, kind of in my early 20s when this came out.
Sure.
And you have people over for a party, you got 4 Xbox controllers, throw down on the game, whatever.
Dude, that in 2023 you can still play this game that came out in 2008, and there's still an active player base, and you can always find a game, and people are still modding it and doing stuff like that. I'm sure there's other games that are like that, but like, this game, like, even when we were playing it, we're like, this game holds up, it's still fun, but like, it almost seems kind of primitive compared to modern games, but it's like it doesn't, like you go to like a really fancy burger place and you get like that $30 burger that looks like $1 million, but then you eat it and you're like, that was okay. But then there's like that fucking place up the road that serves them for like $7 and it looks like shit, but it is like the best tasting burger you've ever had. Like,
yeah, and
like,
it's actually just Costco burgers. Anybody in the States, I don't know if they
yeah.
have Costco there, but
That's exactly.
But it's just a Costco burger, and you're like, I don't know what they're doing to it, but man, it's just a Costco burger, but it's so much better.
Left 4 Dead is a Costco hamburger. It is fucking incredible.
I was gonna compare it to the White Stripes. It's a 2-person band. It's boiled down to the basis of it, but man, the White Stripes slap.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's
totally
simple, but it just works.
Oh,
it's simple and it works.
So good. And it never, even like that very first level from the very first game where, because I think when the games launched, they didn't have a ton of campaigns. And that was like the one complaint. But then they kept dropping DLC.
Yeah. And
now
they had tons of DLC come out. I think they had what, four or 5 campaigns were the OG.
I couldn't believe it. When we
it was like No Mercy, Blood Harvest. That's the one where you're like running through the farm and shit. And I can't remember the other 2. There was 2 other ones were part of the OG.
Yeah,
like Left 4 Dead.
There were 4, but I don't remember what they all were called.
I just remember those 2, like because I loved No Mercy, and then Blood Harvest I think was the one I had. Like I don't think I even beat it. That's where you got to get on a boat in the end. I think it feels like you're in the south or something.
Yeah, you're at like a farmhouse or something, like out on like the creek. Yeah, and you're trying to stay alive. Yeah, so like when we fired it up, we played No Mercy, and I couldn't believe how many. There must be like a dozen campaigns in it now because they've combined all the content from Left 4 Dead 1 and 2 and everything. But like we fired it up and we were playing the No Mercy campaign, and the very first level of that campaign. You start out on the rooftop of the apartment, and then you fight your way down through the apartment building. And there's like the ripped up floors and shit, and you're falling down. And God, Tyler, I was like, there's just something about this fucking game, man. It just feels so good, and I want to get into some of the characters because I know they all play the same. They're just basically different skins and different voices, but some of them are fucking hilarious. And I want to get into them, and I want to talk about some of our favorite campaigns and stuff like that. And we're gonna do all of that in just a minute because I have to pause for possibly a quick word from a sponsor, or maybe not. I don't know if we had a sponsor or not, but if we did, thank you very much, a potential sponsor, for sponsoring this show. So I wanted to talk about the characters because I'll be honest with you, like I know Left 4 Dead 1 better than Left 4 Dead 2, and in Left 4 Dead 1. You mentioned Bill, the old war vet. You had Lewis, the
office worker guy.
Yeah, the blue collar the white collar office. I always get blue and white collar mixed up. He's white collar.
Yeah, he's white collar. He was working at Dunder Mifflin actually.
Yeah, he totally looks like he worked at Dunder Mifflin. There's like Francis, who's like the biker guy, and then there's Zoe, like the girl.
I don't know, was Sons of Anarchy out yet? Like, was that like a? I don't think Sons of Anarchy.
No, I don't think it was yet. No.
Man, I mix up a lot of the shit that's come out that's been like pop culture phenoms. I'm like, oh, this all happened at once in the past. That's one time period, not progressively through my life.
It's like I still think 10 years ago is like 1999.
Yeah, me too.
1999 is 24 fucking years ago. Like Jesus Christ, 10 years ago was 2013. Fuck me, that's insane. 10 years ago,
I was playing like terrible zombie games by then. I'd given up on good ones like this. I was playing DayZ.
Dude, if you said 10 years ago in 2013, it still wouldn't have been 1999. Like that's how far away it is. Fuck me. But like, so those are the characters from the first one, and that's the thing is like I remember when Left 4 Dead 2 came out, and I bought it, and I was stoked, and I liked it. It was fine, but like there was the football coach.
Coach, and that was his name, was Coach.
Yeah, there was like the slick
Rochelle.
Yeah, she was the reporter.
Yeah.
There was the guy that looks like Saul Goodman. I don't think he was a lawyer. He was like a gambler or something. And then there was
his name. I can't remember his name. And then the kid was like with the cap, the ball.
That was
cap.
Ellis.
Ellis.
Yeah, Ellis was like a mechanic. And then Nick was the guy in the fucking suit.
Nick. Yeah.
And those 4 were fine, but I don't know about yourself. Maybe it's just because I played so much of the original Left 4 Dead. Like they just never clicked with me like the original foursome did.
No, not the same.
right?
I
And I
but
don't know
I
why.
liked playing as Bill. I thought he was awesome. I thought that character was great. Zoe was great. Lewis was great. Like all the characters from the first one just slapped. Like it was just a good dynamic. Second one wasn't bad. I just wanted to be the other characters.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
and like the games came out really close to each other too. They came out on the same day in November, a year
Like
apart.
1 year apart. Yeah. Like,
Yeah,
well, they,
which you don't get. Like what fucking Modern Warfare came out, like Warzone came out like 4 or 5 years ago. You don't get like year after year kind of sequels like that.
no.
They,
Well,
they don't do that anymore.
I think if Left 4 Dead came out today, we wouldn't get Left 4 Dead 2 a year from now. Left 4 Dead 2 would all just be paid DLC. There's no way
Yeah,
they would just
probably.
release a second game today.
Well, like because they use the same engine, it's basically the same graphics. Like
Yeah.
other than changing, like adding, it's basically their big expansion. That's all they did.
Yeah,
They added
exactly.
like, I think the melee was way better in Left 4 Dead 2. Am I saying that right? I always
Well,
used to say melee.
no, I always said
Melee.
melee. I always find it weird.
Yeah,
when
I
people
think
say it
melee is the
other
right way to say it, but I used to always say melee, and then someone corrected me, and I was like, well, you say
Melee?
turret. Yeah, and then the person who corrected me used to say turret instead of turret. And if I'm saying it wrong, I'm an asshole because then he speaks English better than me.
Oh my god, the melee
Sorry,
attack and
Dylan.
the melee attacks in Ocarina of Tim are ridiculous. Just someone's head just fucking exploded about the melee attacks in Ocarina of Tim. Someone's head just popped. Um,
Well,
so-
fuck that guy. That's awesome. That's the name of my next ska band.
I love it.
I don't play instruments or sing either, so
You don't
these
have
ska
to.
bands are
Yeah,
terrible.
you don't have to. Yeah, I
I
wanted
play
to
a
say
broken flute.
I wanted to say I like Bill too. Zoe was I don't know why I always had a soft spot for Zoe, but like
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know what's so funny? Like I can always when and we heard it a billion times when we were playing Left 4 Dead to get ready for this episode. Like you know the first soundbite I think of when I think of Left 4 Dead is the witch music and the crying. The
Mhm.
second soundbite I hear is Bill yelling at Francis. I don't know why, but I can just hear like God,
Francis!
yeah, God
from
damn
the-
it, damn it,
from
Francis.
the trailer, right?
I don't
Yeah.
know. Yeah, maybe that's what it's from. I don't know why I can hear it, but like, because if any of them
Well-
shoot each other, like they'll yell at each other, which I also find hilarious because they're in the middle of these massive swarms of like 3,000 zombies that are all trying to eat them and bullets are flying. But if you shoot one of the other teammates, you'll hear them be like, "Watch your aim, Zoe," and it's like, how the fuck do you know it was me? There's like 3 billion bullets flying around, but for some reason, Francis is just, I don't know why, I just have it in my head. They're all yelling at Francis. The poor
Well,
guy.
And what's great too, like I don't know where I was gonna go with that. I was gonna say something about Francis. Oh, it's his name. His name, like you have this big burly biker dude, and his name is Francis. Like
Yeah.
that's just such a weird juxtaposition,
It's like Deadpool. It's like the Deadpool villain.
right? But
Where's
so
Francis?
and then Lewis. That's the perfect biker name. His name would be Lou the biker. That
Yeah.
sounds like a biker name or a mafia guy. I don't know.
Yeah, Francis doesn't seem like a fucking biker. You're right.
Who the fuck names their kid Francis? Anybody who's named Francis, I'm really sorry. You could go by Frank though, homie.
Yeah, you better be a biker, Francis.
Francis.
But no, I just
I
like
told you, Bill. Call me Frank.
I
Fuck
like
you, Francis.
like I like that they just take a little bit of time to have them talk. Like there's no story, there's no real story. Like I mean, the story is you're trying to get away.
Yeah.
And that's fine, but like I like that there's not a giant plot. I like that the characters don't get a ton of development. You don't have to listen to them learn to love each other or anything. They're just four
No, it's
people that
totally
were thrown
streamlined.
together. Yeah, and I'm like, dude, I'm replaying Doom 3 right now to get ready for the show. And
Mhm.
and I like Doom 3, but like there's all the have you played Doom 3? I'm sure you have.
No, actually, like the
Okay.
entire Doom franchise past the first one, I've never played any of them. I'm
Oh,
kind of
dude.
saving them for like I got nothing going on, and I'm gonna do a deep dive into
Yeah.
Doom and Wolfenstein.
Doom-
Those are two franchises. Like I'm like a hardcore shooter guy, and those are two franchises that I have on the shelf. I do that with music too. I save like classic artists for I'm gonna get into whatever, I don't know, like Neil Young, and then something that maybe I should have gotten into years and years ago, but I just save stuff for as I get older.
Right. Well, okay. Well, when you do finally play Doom, play Doom Eternal is fucking. Oh god, Doom Eternal is sex. I love that game. But
Yeah, I've definitely heard. Like, I've been told, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm just saving a good thing."
Yeah. Oh, hey, I get it. Listen, like, fucking, not a week goes by that someone's not like, "When are you gonna play Metal Gear Solid 3?" And I'm like, I don't fucking know. Stop. I don't know. Someday. But the point I was gonna
Did you
make
see
is
that
that
thing about the? Did you see the like current event for Metal Gear Solid? Sorry, big segue. I have ADHD.
no,
We're gonna
that's all right.
segue into this though. Did you see the thing that the U.S. soldiers are doing to trick AI?
No.
They're doing the Metal Gear
Oh
Solid
yeah, I
hide
did
under
see
boxes
that.
and
They're
it's
hiding in
fooling
boxes.
AI. Man, I love it.
It would fool me
When
too.
video game mechanics work in real life, you're like, we are in a simulation.
Yeah, they're like, dude,
The devs are laughing at us.
every job on this fucking planet is gonna be done by robots by the year 2030, except security, because everyone will just be walking around in boxes and the security won't know what's going on. So,
Yeah.
what was I gonna say? Oh, the point I was gonna make is Doom 3. You get these, like, there's a ton of focus on these fucking little stupid, they're PDAs and like they're people's like little like pocket assistants with their emails and their voice record. And like, I get it why it's there, but I'm like, I just want to shoot monsters. It's Doom. Like, shut up. And that's one of the many
it's
things
not
I like.
BioShock. It's not System Shock because those are
Exactly.
big mechanics in those. It's Doom. You're a freaking military guy in hell.
Exactly.
Just give her.
And that's what I like about Left 4 Dead is that it doesn't bog you down. Like, the cutscenes are like 5 seconds long and they're basically just your characters getting out of whatever situation they're in or getting in. Because like most levels, all you have to do is you start out in a safe room and you have to fight your way to the end or to the next safe room. And then in the final level, like you said, there's like the one where you're at like that cabin by the water and you're waiting for the boat. There's the one where you're on the top of the hospital and you're waiting for the helicopter to show up. I can't remember if it's from Left 4 Dead 1 or 2. One of my favorite single levels, there's one where you're in like an amusement park. And it's creepy as fuck. And you're in like a
2, I think.
I think you're right. And you're in like an auditorium or like where there'd be like a concert at the amusement park. And basically you have to be you're like on the stage and you have to like call for helpers. I'm stretched because I haven't played it in a while, but you like call for help and then the zombies are just coming from fucking over the grandstands and everything. And you need to fight them off from the stage. It's fucking like, but that's it. Like, I don't need a bunch of cutscenes. Just let me go from safe room to safe room until the final showdown, and then the final showdown is calling for help and then holding on until it shows up, and it's perfect.
Yeah, and you always fight a tank.
Yeah,
and you always fight a tank in the final showdown. And what I was thinking about is the at the end where it tracks. I don't think it did track how many witches you killed. It's how much damage your team did to the tank. So it was always like a big like bravado thing. Like, I did 1,200 damage. Next person did 900. I killed the tank.
Yeah.
It was me.
Yeah, exactly. Right? Yeah, and that's where and I want to get a little bit into the competitive modes in a minute because I didn't play a lot of them, so I'm banking on you to see if you know anything about them because I don't. But when it comes to the co-op, like the other thing I really like is like I love that the characters are at least they all have like funny voices or like they all say funny things sometimes and stuff like that, and that's great. I like that you don't have to worry about your skill set because they all play the same. I like that there's not a lot of cutscenes, there's not a lot of story to follow. You're just fighting zombies, and that's all well and good. To me, the other thing that's really the secret sauce in this game, one thing is the director and the way it reorganizes levels every time. But I love the focus on co-op. Like the simple fact is like you cannot win this game. Maybe on the super easy difficulties you can, or maybe if you're like super good at the game you can. But by and large, like you cannot win this game without working together. Like you've got, because like there's enemies that'll attack you where the only way to get out is to have one of your teammates kill them or get them off of you. You know, you'll get knocked down and you'll need one of your teammates to come over and pick you up. You'll fall off a ledge and be hanging on and need one of your teammates to pull you back over.
Or you'll have a fucking tank throw you off the top of a fucking hospital.
Yes, exactly. And then you're just dead. But I love that. I love that teamwork aspect. Like and I think maybe that's part of the reason Left 4 Dead clicked with me when a lot of other games at this era, like I never had any interest in playing a game where I was like by myself because I knew I wasn't good enough. But like a game like this where I'm like, I'm just one of the team and like, I'll help you up. You help me up. I like that even the little things will pop up being like, you know, Adam protected Tyler or like Tyler saved Adam, you know, like that. I love that stuff, man. Like there's such a great, simple, there's such a focus on teamwork, but it's not complicated. and I love it.
Right.
Like
Right.
I love it.
Like,
Maybe lots of games are like
same.
this, and I just don't play other shooters, but I love it.
No, there aren't a lot of games like this. Like this definitely. Maybe I'm out to lunch. Like I don't play every game on the planet, but I mean, there's
Yeah,
some
you've
games
never
that have
played
kind.
Doom, for fuck's sakes.
Yeah, well,
Sorry,
you
go
know,
ahead.
it's in the pipe. It's in the pipe. I'm
right.
saving it.
Hey,
I'm aware of Doom. I know what it is.
I feel your pain because I take that every week, so I get it. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, this is like I'm actively doing this on purpose. Like I'm
Right.
saving stuff for, you'll run out of good stuff if you just play all the stuff that comes out, or you'll never get to fully enjoy the thing that comes out. You got to
Right.
really,
You gotta
pick your
savor
battles,
it.
right?
Yeah, savor it.
Yeah. Well, especially when you have a family, you get a little older, maybe you can't do everything you used to do, right?
Right.
So there's games like I feel like there's a really popular game called Hunt. It's a first-person shooter on the computer where it plays like this, but way slower. It's in a Western setting, but there's zombies. But instead of trying to escape, you're trying to get a bounty and then escape. Totally
okay.
legit, similar kind of atmosphere, but it's like Left 4 Dead feels like it's turned up to 11. Like the pace is just frantic, whereas Hunt is really slow, right? I think this is like the peak of my zombie gaming experience because I'm not big into Hunt. I play it with a few people if they're into it. I'd rather play a military shooter than Hunt. And Left 4 Dead, I'd go back and play that in a heartbeat.
Dude,
so good.
It's so much fun to just hop in with 3 of your friends, and like, I like games where, like, you can't even listen. Like, we've all played a game where you're working together. It's a co-op game, and then you fucked over a buddy of yours somehow, like just for a laugh. You know what I mean? But like in this game, like you really can't, because if you do, you're going like once you get shorthanded. When we were trying to do that final mission on the roof of the hospital where we were trying to fight off the tank and stay alive till the helicopter showed up, like once one of us went down, it just felt like we're fucked. Then the wheels went off.
Yeah.
Like you have to be on top of each other. You're sharing pills. Those fucking smoker guys will hook you with their stupid tongues or whatever, and you'll be hanging, and you'll need someone to shoot them to get you down. And fuck.
Sounds like a 2003 rave. Sharing pills and those fucking
yeah,
smoker
exactly,
guys.
yeah. But like, it's just so I fucking love it. It's just so brilliantly done. Oh, the one complaint,
and even just before you get to your complaint, but like just building on the simplicity of it, there's not a ton of weapon variety either. Even like from 1 to 2, like 2 has more weapons and more melee weapons. I'm sticking to my
we
gun.
gotta say melee. Yeah.
Melee.
Yeah, melee.
Miley. But there's not a shit ton of guns. Like in the first one, there's the shotgun, there's an M4, an Uzi, and I think there's a rifle. And like, but that's pretty much it. And a pistol. There's like a 1911, right? You're not sitting there with an arsenal that rivals like a fucking third world army. You're sitting there with like, that's it. You pick like, do you want the fast shooter, the long range shooter, the fucking scatter gun, or the pistol? And like, man, doing the pistol is the way to go. But
and shout out to the infinite ammo pistol. Like,
yeah,
because you could drop your pistol for a what are we saying, melee? You could drop your pistol for a melee.
Yeah, melee.
For a melee, you could drop your pistol for a melee weapon, and maybe some people are good with the melees and they can melee their way out of everything. But I'm like, I'm a horrible melee fighter. I need a pistol, and like, just give me that infinite ammo pistol, and then you carry like your second weapon. I always go with some kind of automatic firing something because I'm not very good. So
yeah, same. I always loved having the semi-automatic or like the shotgun or the assault rifle.
Yeah.
I was all about that. And then they had like a pipe bomb and a Molotov cocktail. I don't think there were grenades. There weren't any grenades.
No, you could get a pipe bomb, which I love because you throw it in, it beeps and draws all the zombies away.
Yeah,
which gives you time to heal or help each other up or something. It's a godsend. There's the Molotovs, or you could get the canisters of. It looks like the Ninja Turtle ooze. And it's like the bile, and you can throw it on. And then I think if you throw it on like a big enemy, then all the other enemies like swarm him.
Oh yeah.
I'm all.
It was like a pheromone or something like that to trick them.
But I think it was semen. I think it was zombie semen. But I'm not 100. But I was always a pipe bomb guy. Like throw that pipe
Francis,
bomb.
where'd you get that zombie semen? It's working.
Francis, stop wasting this demon. No.
And then drinking it. No.
And then you could get like a health kit, and then you could get like pills or adrenaline or whatever. And Yeah, I agree. I like the simplicity of it too. And that's again, and some people are going to disagree with me, I think, but like, because I don't know anything about guns. Like, I don't know anything about guns, anything. But like, I didn't really enjoy the way that like Back for Blood, you could like get all these different guns and then you could pick up all these different accessories and like equip them. And I'm like, I know some people are into customizing it and making them bigger and badder and more powerful and everything, but I'm like, a shotgun is a shotgun. Like, I know what they do. Like, just, I'm good with this. You know what I mean? Like, less is more. I don't need all this extra shit.
Especially because, in a situation like that, like, other than the biker and the war vet, nobody's gonna know how to fucking, add a ACOG scope or something like that and then sight it in the middle of an apocalypse like that. That's hard to do. You have to learn how to do that. That's hard to do. You throw it, like, even you might have different rail systems. So, like, in that situation, you pick up a shotgun, you're gold.
Man, I would just you saying that, like, I can't even express how dead weight I would be in a real life zombie apocalypse. Like, it is fucking. I was saying when we were playing Left 4 Dead the other night, I was like, I like to think if I was ever caught in a zombie apocalypse, I'd be the guy that dies like around the 40-minute mark of the movie, and it's like he's just been making dumb jokes and been pretty useless the whole time. But now they're like, we need someone to stay back and seal the door. And I'm like, I'm already hurt, guys. I suck. Just go. I'll stay. Like, I feel like that would be me. I'm like, I have asthma. I have no depth perception. I'm a terrible shot. I'm eating way too much of our food. Just go. Like, just leave me here. But like,
to be fair, that's an honorable end. Like, you're not the guy who got bit and lied about it.
I'm either gonna.
That's who I am.
Either that, or it's gonna turn out that I'm Wesker and I've been like developing these zombies the whole fucking time. But yo, I just like
podcast is a front.
I like that the weapons are basic, and that was gonna be my one. And it's such a minor complaint, and maybe it's even by design. It probably is, but like, I will say, and I found this when we were playing it. I forgot about this till we started replaying it for the episode. Like, man, some of the weapons reload very slow. And again, maybe that's by design, but it's just when you're on that fucking hospital roof and everywhere you turn, there's just swarms and it looks like Black Friday and you can't move. And you're like, both my guns are empty. And so I need to reload. And in that like 8 seconds, it takes Zoe to fucking reload her rifle. My health is gone. It's fucking, again, it's not even a complaint. It's just me basically complaining that I suck is what the complaint is that I'm not very good.
And I think it was to build suspense. Like, if you're sitting there racking the shotgun, like, shh, and there's a horde running at you, you're crapping your pants.
Oh, yeah. If you're going all Black Widow and like emptying a clip, dropping the clip, slapping the second clip in, and like, like that, you're no question. I'm just not very good. And it's, oh my God. Or it's, no, that's all. It's just fucking, and that's another reason I like the automatic guns, because they can put like 50 bullets in. So I'm like, it takes me an extra couple of seconds to run out of ammo with this before I'm inevitably fucked. Yeah. So I wanted to ask you, dude, because like I know some people are gonna ask about it, and at this point, this is the 233rd episode of this show. I think most people expect that like I don't know fuck all about the multiplayer modes in most games because I haven't played a lot of them. But did you like? And I don't mean because I did play the campaigns in this one, but I didn't play a lot of the like 4v4 where you play as the zombies and stuff. Did you play a lot of those?
Yeah. I played it. I think it was only in Left 4 Dead 2, right?
I'm not sure.
I can't remember what it was in. Like I'm going off memory for these.
Yeah.
I think it was in 2. It might have been in 1, but I did play them. And so like your 4 survivors still played the game normally. Like it was just like, that's what you do. You're surviving. It's the same in every one. Like It's like as when you're playing co-op, it's the same thing. It's not like you're trying to like shoot, Francis in the back or whatever.
Right.
But the 4 other people are playing as the specialist zombies. And like, if they're not, they respawn, and I think the respawn timer was less. I can't remember, someone who's played it recently will fact check that and call me out for having a shitty memory. I'm 38. Fuck off.
Yeah. We're old.
Yeah. I have more gray hair than normal colored hair at this point. I'm turning into Adam's,
buddy.
Like,
Yeah.
I know.
I'm disgusting. I look like a fucking rock.
I was going to say the George Clooney of Canada, but for whatever. Go with it.
Yeah, I don't think so.
He's had gray hair since he was 28.
Oh, fuck. I'm there. But I'm sorry. So you were saying that like so you play as like the infected. That I think that'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah, and so like playing as the bloated guy who puked on him like the sucked. But if you were the hunter or the smoker, oh man, or the tank, I'm pretty sure you could play as the tank. I have memories of throwing fucking giant rocks at people and bitch slapping them around. Loved it. So good. And if you could take like and you're playing against the survivors, so like if you go to jump on someone, the other ones will turn on you and blast you, so you had to be really tactical about like, oh, this dude broke off from the pack, to get him. Loved it. Like it was so good. Since then, I think that game mode inspired a genre of games. I don't know if there's more than, maybe not a genre, but like there's a game called Evolve.
Yeah.
Where one person plays as this giant monster and then the other 4 people try to fight the monster. And it felt very much like the Left 4 Dead co-op or Left 4 Dead like versus mode.
Right.
Like
Man.
it just has that feel because you're still trying to do the campaign, but there's this whole other matrix where it's like, oh, the special zombies might be a human player and they might be thinking a little bit harder than the director.
That sounds so much
Or
fun.
they might suck worse.
What a great fucking pair of games, man. Like I usually have the Wikipedia page up while we're recording just in case I need to check a date or whatever. And if you've never looked at this, I encourage most of you to look because it's obviously not official. It's all very subjective to the nerds that edit Wikipedia pages. But Left 4 Dead is listed as like it's one of the games on Wikipedia where somewhere on its page it says it's considered by many to be one of the greatest video games of all time. And then you can click it and see a list of games that are considered the greatest of all time, according to who, I don't know. But I don't think it's insane to say. What?
I had to do it. I had to log on to Wikipedia and see, and the number 1 game just made me giggle.
Oh,
like
there's some obvious games on there, and there's some where you're like, okay, but when it comes to Left 4 Dead,
the list is by year. That's why it's not. I just realized. I thought the number 1 game they were saying was Oregon Trail. I was gonna be like, fuck off.
No, it's in release order. But
yeah,
I will say that like, well, there's a few games on that list that I'm like, I don't think it's wild to put this game put these games on that list. Like these are two. Dude, I think you and I had this exact same discussion when we did Half-Life a few months ago, but like, man, prior to just being the company that owns Steam and prints money, like Valve was fire. And it's like, these 2 games, man, are just, I don't know what it is about them. They're just very special.
And then it lives
games.
up to the Valve curse. They can't have a 3rd release.
I know. I know.
Because there was a 3rd one in production and then they dropped it.
And that's what I wanted Back 4 Blood to be. And Back 4 Blood was fine, but it just it's like McDonald's changed the sauce on the Big Mac. Like that was what Back 4 Blood felt like. It was like, I know this is Left 4 Dead, but it just feels a little different.
So and like I love this. So on the Left 4 Dead list, they have oh no, it's Gears of War 2 is on there. I was gonna be like, oh man, Left 4 Dead is on one of the best games of the year, but then Gears of War wasn't on there. But no. Gears of War 2 is on there. I was just reading the wrong year.
I don't know, man. I'm telling all of you, if you're listening to this and you grew up loving Left 4 Dead or you played it back in the day, and it burns me to my core to say this, but if you've got either a Steam Deck or a PC, like I bought them off Steam for $1. You buy Left 4 Dead 2, Left 4 Dead 1 everything is included. And I've been playing it with members of the community for the last couple of weeks to get ready for this. And I'm like, this is maybe the best $1 I've ever spent on a video game. Like, I'll keep playing it now. It's so much fun. They're so fun.
Man, it's fire. And it's a lot of like the retro games that we go back and play. It's like even Castle Crashers. It's therapy. Like it plays like Castle Crashers, where it's just you had a hard day at work, you come home, you plop down. They're not like some of the games I play are such a high skill set that I don't have time to dedicate to them anymore, and they change so much. Like Escape from Tarkov is one that I've been playing since 2016. It's fucking grueling. Like it's like stabbing yourself in the leg repeatedly. It is so hard, and you have to dedicate a hell of a lot of time to know everything, because it's also like not a high skill set game, it's a high knowledge based game.
Right.
Games like Left 4 Dead, you pick it up, you start playing it, you're having a good time.
Yeah.
You're doing
and
well.
that's not to say that like it's not hard. Like it can be hard, but there's not a ton of layers of strategy. It's just work together, shoot everything that moves, and get out. Like it's
Yeah, you're not sitting there having to read a manual beforehand or watch like 10,000 hours of streamers playing it to figure out how to escape the level. Or, you can just pick it up and play and have a genuinely good time.
Yeah, man. I gotta be honest with you, bro. Like I'm sitting here right now thinking about it. I'm like between Half-Life and Half-Life 2 and Left 4 Dead and Left 4 Dead 2. And now that I've played Portal, I have not yet played Portal 2, but I'm sure it's fine.
Oh, it's good. No, it's a good sequel, but it feels like like a lot of their games. That's the thing about Valve, is a lot of their games feel like continuations of the previous one. They don't reinvent the wheel; they just build on it.
But like, I will say that like, there's some there's billions of examples. The one that comes to mind for me because it burns my ass so much, is Jak and Daxter, and then Jak 2. Jak and Daxter is like a great fun 3D platformer. Jak 2 is like fucking GTA platformer or something. And it's like, listen, I have no problem with a company trying to stretch their creative muscles a little bit and think outside of the box and try something different. But I'm like, if it's not broken, you don't have to fix it. And I think Valve is a great example of that. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Like, I like that Left 4 Dead 2 didn't overcomplicate what Left 4 Dead did. Like, I'm glad it's just more of this. I just leave it. Like, it's fun. I think it's a testament to how good these games are that I hate playing online shooters generally. And I fucking love these games. I'm like, I'll never get tired of playing these games. And now that we've been playing them, I'm like, dude, I got to keep playing this. Like, I'm going to keep playing these because they're so goddamn fun.
Yeah, well, and like like we were saying earlier, like the director makes it so it's fresh every time.
Exactly.
Like you're not bored playing it. Like,
no.
and
you always,
man, like I said, I compared it to Castle Crashers. I feel it's very similar to that, where it does feel like, comfort food.
Yeah, totally. You're always getting new layouts, new enemies, and you always have Francis to fucking yell at. So,
fucking Francis.
Damn it, Francis! I can hear it in my head. Anyway, are we good? I think we're good.
Yeah.
All right, we got to score this thing. Scoring it out of 4 is too easy. So let's go.
Because it's a 4 out of 4. Out of 4.
Yeah, like there's not enough flexibility. So let's go out of 8 because there's 8 total survivors.
Okay.
So we're taking all 8, both game survivors. So we're creeping up on 2 a.m. All right. If I sound tired, I am fucking tired. But this is still on. I'll be honest. When you said we were gonna record this at like fucking 1 a.m. or midnight or whatever, I was like, oh man, I'm old. I don't want to still be up. But then once we got talking, I was like, dude, this hour just flown by because I love this fucking game. So if we're scoring it out of 8, Tyler, I'll shut up. The ball is on your face. What would you score this game?
Why is the ball on my face? 7 out of 8. Fuck you, Francis.
Fuck you, Francis. Yeah, Francis costed a point.
Yeah.
Is that's your lot? Just 7 out of 8. That's it. That's your logic.
Yeah, I think 7 out of 8. I don't have a lot of negative things to say. I think it was. Sorry, I just got a text from my wife. She's like, "Shut up."
Oh, I'm waiting for. I can't believe Shaylee hasn't said that to me yet.
I think 7 out of 8. I don't want to give it a perfect score, but I'm on the cusp of saying 8 out of 8.
Yeah.
I think they were great games in my memory. They slap. Like there's not a lot that I could say that was negative. Like the negative thing is getting tossed off the roof by the tank. And man, honestly, that was awesome. Like I loved it. It was challenging and it pissed me off.
Yeah. No,
yeah. So I'm waffling. I'm like 7.5 out of 8. Fuck you, Francis. You're a half point off.
Yeah. I'm going 7 only because so there's been the occasional game where I've waived the Mario tax and given it the perfect score. And like, I don't want to get into the habit of giving every game I like the perfect score. Because if that's the case, then I have to go back through 230 episodes and probably find a dozen games that should have been perfect scored and got digged because of the Mario tax. So I'm gonna go back to my Mario tax, but that's it. Like there's nothing wrong with these. Mario tax because fuck Francis. That's it.
Yeah.
So
I like the music was great. Not as good as other games. That's kind of like the points off. It's like they could have done more atmosphere things with music, but it was good. You know, like there's nothing negative to say. It's just solid.
It's so fun.
It's totally solid.
Dude, like I said, we've been playing it. So I'll talk to you about it off air, but you got to get in. We should play some fucking Left 4 Dead together. That'd be fun.
I'm in. I'm using a mouse and keyboard.
Oh, you fucking the worst. All right, buddy. Listen, it's almost 2 a.m. Your wife's telling you to shut up. My wife hasn't told me to shut up, but I'm assuming she's gonna put a cigarette out on me once this is done. No, not the sexy kind.
Some people. Yeah, I was gonna say some people have to pay for that.
Yeah,
man.
neither of us even smoke. She just keeps a pack in the bedroom for when I won't shut up. So, so I'm gonna go.
Ashtrays don't talk, Adam.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go with you with that. But, buddy, thank you so much for doing this as always. And yeah, we'll do another episode. You know what? I bet you. I don't want to say it for sure, but I think there's a half decent chance the next time you and I talk, Marcus Phoenix is a big part of the discussion.
Oh,
just to put it out there.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited.
So, awesome, buddy. Thanks for doing this, man.
Yeah, anytime.
And that's going to do it for this week's episode. Tyler, thank you so much for giving me a call and talking Left 4 Dead into every single one of you zombie surviving motherfuckers out there right now listening to this. Whether it was your first Remember the Game or your 233rd, thank you so much for giving us a chance. I appreciate it. Listen, if you didn't hate this, leave us a good review, would you? It balances out the ones we get from the bad people that are just like, he hates Ocarina of Time. The opening is too long. Fuck him. Fuck Canada. Fuck life. Just leave us a good review. We'd really appreciate it. And if you want more of these, lots more of these, consider supporting us on Patreon. Subscriptions start at $2 a month, and you get 2 extra shows every week, including The Blankies, last week's episode, which has been critically acclaimed, as Wikipedia would say if I had a Wikipedia page. And for $5 a month, you get 3 shows, almost 4 a week, 4 starting in March. So lots of shit over there. I'm on Twitch. You can swing by and see me whenever you want. I never beg for subs or anything. You're welcome to sub, but you can just come by and follow. It's free. See me. I play video games. I talk to you. It's good times. Twitch.tv/rememberthegame. I have some new Let's Plays up at youtube.com/rememberthegame, including a Mega Man 1 Let's Play and a Sonic 2 Let's Play. Another Sonic 2 Let's Play where I finally beat it. So those are up there if you want to see those. And I have a P.O. box. You can find the full address at rememberthegamepodcast.com. Don't send me anything big, just postcards and letters. Let me know where you're listening. I'll send you one back. We'll be friends. And I think that's everything I should plug. Yeah, that'll do. That's good. Okay. Just really quick. June 30th, 2023. I'll be in Ottawa, Ontario, Canada. One night only. Doing a stand-up comedy performance. It would be great if you could come out and see me and show the club that I am not a useless piece of shit and I can get some fans out. I'll be hanging around to drink with everybody. It's the beginning of the Canada Day long weekend, so you can hang out, drink, get a hotel room. We'll shut that fucking shit down. I'll talk more about that when tickets are available, but I thought I'd put it out there right now, okay? That's it. I'm going to thank some patrons and get out of here. I'll be back tomorrow for all of our patrons with Expansion Pass 147, where we'll compare the Super Nintendo library to the PlayStation library. Game Patch will go live on Friday with all the biggest news in the world of video games, and I'll be back next week with a whole nother slab of podcasts, including Remember the Game number 234, which will be about Dick Tracy for the NES. Should be a good time with my younger brother Josh swinging by. Take it easy, everybody. Talk to you on the next one. Cheers. Goodbye. Remember the Game is brought to you by our Patreons. I could not puke up all the content I churn out every week without all of your support. The following people are at the senior executive vice president level or higher at patreon.com/rememberthegame, and as such, I'm contractually obligated to say their names as quickly as possible. So a huge thank you to... For the record, we're going in reverse alphabetical order of your email addresses this week. A huge thank you, as I can't remember what I did last week. A huge thank you to Zach Shepard, Zane Donovan, Phil Val, Arctic Fission, Tunable Power, Joe Buck, Mizuru, Kia Pup, Darth Skywalter, Wolfgang Darren, Works For Me, Skillaroni, J Vision 719, Denton Van Zandt, John Woodruff, Lord Longrod Von Hugen Dog II, Wolf Magic 21, Tyler Bauer, Frosty Feet 492, Hired Goons, who? Trevor McKee, Quiet Place Queen, Fuzzy 99, Tone Bone Swiss, Doogie, Timothy Sabrinsky, Thomas Smith, Theored, Mike Maloney, That One Kid Josh, Scary Terry, Joe Stone, Atreyu Wormwood. Ooh, that one was tough. Squints, Robbie DLC, C-Spin, Solomon Soto, Sam Wright, Jimothy, Edridge FPV, Shoeboxers, TBXJ, Timmy the Exuberant Turtle, Steve Dalp, Blaine the Hoagie Man, Bucky the Beagle Herder, Sam Carpenter's. I'm really struggling this week. Max Sandin. I'm going to fucking rally. Here we go. Mercury 869, Squeak Nuts, Romaldo Marquez, Ruben Elizalde, Raysen Wantonga, Why the Surgeon Who's Not a Surgeon Row, Hatrick Swayze, Knife Goes In, Guts Come Out, OT Plays Games, Slick Ricks, Titan 420, Randy Barrage, Sean Ramos, Alexis Ramos, Russell Aldridge, Yep, that's right. I didn't fuck that one up. Ryan Perry, Gonzalo, Frosty Bear, Stephen Parnell, James Senabria, B Money, Musty Beat, Money or Money? Money. Musty Beetle, Nicola, Nick Creature, Cam Nelly 23, Brian Neese, Nathan Tremblay, Naif E, Esteban Navarro, DB Cooper, Mr. Papa Giorgio, Morgan, Zonko 504, Phil McCracken, Mark But Not McHugh, Tristan Anderson, Mojo the Helper Monkey, Bulma Simp, Beef Dingleberry, Matt Hamilton, Angry Ticks, Leroy Westrich, Mark Sneed, Bud Lightyear, Gabe, Aaron Lawson, Kayach, Munch McCucci, Chris Lovin, Postman, Ryan Kitchen, Kevin Monroe, I'm a stupid moron with an ugly face and a big butt. My butt smells and I like to kiss my own butt. Alexander Camp, Sleeper Hit, No One Cares, Stud Still Smash, Steph Bergeron, Raging Irish, Jordan, Chugger 22, Oroku Saki's Gardner, Johnny CCDC, John Jameson, Laces Out Dan, Beaver Boy, Joey Mercury, Joel LeBlanc, John M. Watkins, Jake Carter, John of the Adult Children Podcast, Jerry the 3D Printed Sausage, Sharonic, Welsh Destroyer, James Black, James One Francesco, Evolva, Isaias, Ian Kag, Phil Lencher, Holmes, Rolled in the Deep, Faded Sufferance, Heman Demon, Lucas Valadez, Jameer Williams, Maverick Marty, G9PSX, Graham, Brant Hewitt, Fraser Burns, Shorzy, Nomad, The Stone Shooter, E-Man Trucker, Agent Booty Pants, Eric James, Daniel DeVore, Dr. Nightmare 23, Ryan Maurice, current Remember the Game Hall of Famer Mark McHugh, Dem Boys on the Roof, Doug Dorn, Till Pickle Rick, Decoy Man, Digital Dave, Dakota Guy, oh my god it froze, Dave McGee, Chris Williams, Daniel, David Marcus, Zach Coiner, Adam Fletcher, Colin Bollinger, Cody Richardson, James Clark, Drugs About MK, Christian Gabriel, Makeshift Mallow Magic Money, Triple, Chris Dickin, Charlie Medeiros, Chris Fleury, DP Pooper, Hitchy Poo, Elijah Burns, High Plains Drifter, General Fury, Bobby Litton, Nerdy Hybrid, Captain N, Biddy, DNA Gaming, Dan Fuselman, Brandon Helmheckle, Hagel Waffle, It's OG, Michael Barjudina, Brandon DeZeba, Zamatos, It's the Bigfoot, Benjamin Atkins, Andrew Wright, Dave Thompson, Andy Hudson, Andre, Itchy Nutsuru, Alex R, A-Town, WestGen, a dude named Adam, Adam Martinet, Just a Fish and Derek Cox. I rallied there fucking hard. Boom, shakalaka. He's on fire. Purple Monkey Dishwasher.